Thank you and good morning. I would invite you to rise in body or in spirit and to turn in our gray hymnal to hymn number 357 for our opening music, Bright Morning Stars, hymn number 357.
Let me try that with the microphone. Good morning. I'm Reverend Theresa Rohlck. I'm the Minister of Pastoral Care. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Ann Arbor, a presence here in the community since 1865. We are glad that you are here. Your presence here matters. A warm welcome to those online. If you'd like to take a second and introduce yourself in the chat, please do. We'd love it if you fill out a survey at UUAA.org/newcomer survey so we can better connect with you. And if you have bravely chosen to attend for the first time and are here in the sanctuary, right after each service, there is an in-person newcomer welcome in the Redmond room, which is just outside these double doors, up a little ways and on the left. There's a sign, and there'll be someone there who can answer your questions and tell you a little bit more about this congregation. I am delighted to remind you that this coming Friday, May 17, is Friday Fun Night. But it's not just any Friday Fun Night, it is karaoke night. Yes, with two U's, back by popular demand. It's sponsored by those involved in the music ministries, most of whom are here right now. The evening will include a cookout with hot dogs and hamburgers. There'll be vegan and gluten-free options, assorted salads, brownies. Please bring your own plate and fork as we work towards reaching our net zero waste goal. Things will start at 6 p.m. and you can sign up or RSVP on links on the website or in the weekly news, or you can ask any of the musicians for more information. Now, it really is a lot of fun for all ages. Even if you are thinking, like I am afraid of doing karaoke. But we're going to do a little practice right now. No, don't worry. I'm betting you all know the words to our practice song, so they're not actually going to appear on the screen like they would in a real karaoke situation. The song is Happy Birthday. But it's not just any birthday, it is our birthday. So we will sing Happy Birthday to Us, Happy Birthday to the First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Ann Arbor, okay? Can anyone guess how old we are? We were founded in 1865, that's a hint. 159, yes, wonderful. So Dusty and Allison, will you lead us in our practice karaoke song?
Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday to us. Happy birthday, dear the First Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Ann Arbor. Happy birthday to us.
Thank you. I say we're in pretty good voice for 159, don't you think? So now, I invite you all, those online, those watching later, those in person, to come into this space, ready to receive the gifts of music, words, story, and flowers, with open hearts and minds. And let us pause ever so briefly to honor those who we call Mother on this day dedicated to them. Perhaps your mother is no longer alive, nor is her mother or her mother's mother. But they, who we now call ancestors, have shaped us in ways that cannot be forgotten. Those ways can be complicated or easy, beautiful or fraught. We have been shaped by biological mothers, adoptive mothers, foster mothers, aunties, grandmas, sisters. We are cared for by trans and non-binary mothers. We might have more than one mother, or fathers who mother, or mothers with different names altogether. My mother's idea of a mother was pretty constrained by the culture and the time in which she was raised and in which she raised her children. And that may be true for some people you know as well. But it is a blessing that amongst this community, we can recognize the multitude of ways people can mother, and we welcome them into this community just as they are. So right now, just for a moment, pause and imagine all of the humans who have mothered you. And now let us offer them our gratitude for doing the very hard work of mothering. May the universe grant all mothers rest. May they know the work they do is holy work. We are gathered in community. We are ready to worship together.
We have many cherished rituals in Unitarian Universalism. We offer communions of water, dirt, seeds, bread, fire, flowers, and even stardust in some places. That last one often involves glitter. We dedicate children. We celebrate bridging youth and life transitions. We call in the directions and honor the elements. We remember those we've loved and lost. We bless backpacks and animals. And we start the new year by letting go. Rituals provide comfort and familiarity. They connect us to those that came before and those yet to come. They offer the opportunity to reflect on our own spiritual journeys in the safe arms of beloved community. On this Mother's Day, Flower Communion Sunday, as on every Sunday, we begin our time together with another ritual, the lighting of our chalice. This morning, it is my great pleasure to invite Mandy, Jesse, Bowen, and Micah Beal to the chancel to lead us in this beautiful ritual. What better way to celebrate Mother's Day than to share the wonderful news that Micah's adoption has been finalized? As we prepare to light our sanctuary chalice, I invite all of you that are joining us remotely to light a chalice or a candle of your own. And if you like, share with us in the chat that your chalice is lit. And as we say these words together, let us recognize and celebrate that all families are beautiful, and that some families have a mom and a bear. Together let us say, we light this chalice for the light of truth. We light this chalice for the warmth of love. We light this chalice for the energy of action. We light this chalice for the harmony of peace. Thank you. Just as we light a chalice every Sunday, so too do we recite the words of our community's covenant. We are a people committed to compassion and generosity, pluralism and transformation, justice and equity, and we are always guided by love in everything that we do. So whether you are joining us for the first time today, or whether you have these words memorized, please join me as we say together, the spirit of this church is love, and service is its law. This is our covenant with each other, to dwell together in peace, to search for truth in love, and to help one another. For many of us, Mother's Day is, as Reverend Theresa said, complicated. I, having lost my mother as a child, I used to hide away from the world on this day, trying not to drown as waves of grief crashed over me. Even decades later, and after a lot of therapy, I continue to carry that loss around with me. And on Mother's Day, it always feels a little bit heavier. And then I became a mom. And suddenly, across the backdrop of that void, ripples of the most vivid pinks and purples and greens appeared, much like the northern lights danced across our night sky this weekend. That loss will always be with me, but now that loss journeys hand in hand with joy and promise. As our story for all ages teaches us, the most precious gift we have is time together with the ones we love. Saturday, words and pictures by Oji Mora. This morning, Ava and her mother were all smiles. It was Saturday because Ava's mother worked Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Saturday was the day they cherished. On Saturdays, they zipped to the library for weekly story time. On Saturdays, they lounged in salon chairs and got new hairdos. On Saturdays, they picnicked in the grass for a peaceful afternoon at the park. And on this Saturday, they would also ride the bus across town for a one-night-only puppet show. The day would be special. The day would be splendid. The day was Saturday. Ava and her mother could hardly wait. So, zoom, off they went. But when they reached the library, attention patrons, story time is canceled today. Please join us next Saturday. Story time was canceled. Oh no, Ava cried. It's canceled, wailed Ava's mother. They paused, closed their eyes, and let out a deep breath. Don't worry, Ava, her mother reassured her. Today will be special. Today will be splendid. Today is Saturday. So, zoom, off they went. But as they left the salon, Splash! Their hairdos were ruined. Oh no, Ava sobbed. Our do's, boo-hooed Ava's mother. They paused, closed their eyes, and let out a deep breath. Don't worry, Ava, her mother reassured her. Today will be special. Today will be splendid. Today is Saturday. So, zoom, off they went. But their peaceful afternoon at the park was loud. Oh no, Ava groaned. What did you say? It's too noisy, yelled her mother. They paused, closed their eyes, and let out a deep breath. Don't worry, Ava, her mother reassured her. Today will be special. Today will be splendid. Today will be ruined if we miss that bus. So zoom to the extra special, one night only puppet show they went. We made it, Ava exclaimed as they arrived at the theater. Thank goodness, Ava's mother sighed in relief. Hooray for Saturday, they cheered. Tickets, chirped the lady at the door. Ava's mother reached into her purse, but the tickets weren't there. Oh no, Ava's mother gasped. I left our tickets on the table. As Ava watched, her mother crumpled. I've had it, she sighed. Story time was canceled, our hair was ruined, the park was loud, and now we're missing the puppet show. I'm sorry, Ava. We looked forward to this all week, and I've messed up everything. I ruined Saturday. Ava was quiet for a moment. Then she closed her eyes and let out a deep breath. Don't worry, Mommy, Ava reassured her. Today was special. Today was splendid. Saturdays are wonderful because I spend them with you. So, slowly, hand in hand, off they went. When they reached their apartment door, Ava turned to her mother. She had an idea. What if we, Ava started. You know, we could, her mother began, have our own puppet show. So they did. What a beautiful day. The end. Wow, can I ever relate to Ava's mother? When my kids were little, we had a handful of go-to activities, but the petting farm at Domino Farms was definitely a favorite. Watching them waddle after the waddling ducks, or giggling at the llamas, or hee-hawing at the donkeys, priceless. And then there was that time when, after I spent the entire morning hyping it up, the twins and I discovered upon arrival that the petting farm was still on its limited seasonal schedule, closed. Imagine the scene. Not one, but two devastated, outraged toddlers who'd been promised bunnies and peacocks and baby ducks. So I scrambled to think of something to appease them. How about we go to the library? Bust. What about the park? No way. A play bath? I was met with mournful wails. I scrambled. Donuts? Well, that got their attention. And so, to Dom's in Ypsilanti we trekked for chocolate frosted donuts with rainbow sprinkles. And just like that, I transformed from the world's evilest villain into Supermom. When you're deep in the trenches of parenting young children, the days often blur together. The one constant is the constant worry that you're doing everything wrong. You know, most of those visits blend together in my memories now. They've become one big amalgam of petting farm visits. But I remember that day, that terrible, frustrating, delicious, beautiful day. And I think I speak for moms and parents and caregivers everywhere when I say, I hope I have many more days just like that one. Those days, the ones we remember when everything goes wrong before everything goes right. The ones where we feed the kids cold cereal for breakfast because we're just too exhausted to cook. The ones that our kids will remember as the best days. As Reverend William Rice says, it is most wise to combine flowers and children in a day of celebration. For flowers and children ever speak to us of wonders and glories yet to be, of hopes fulfilled if we tend our gardens and our homes with patience and wisdom and love.
Good morning. Whatever life may bring our way, and certainly in the year ahead, there are certainly unexpected things that could very well happen. We can rely on, we can trust that our beloved community will continue to be here just as it has for the previous 159 years, bringing alive the spirit of love and care for one another, and bringing alive in the wider community our commitment to justice. All of that good work and so much more is made directly possible through your ongoing financial generosity. In just a moment, the ushers will come down the aisles with baskets, and you're welcome to leave a check or cash in the basket as they come by. If you are a guest or visiting us for the very first time, please know that you can let the basket pass you by with our appreciation and love for having you with us. If you're online and joining us that way, you can go to uuaa.org/giving in order to financially support the congregation. If you'd like to give by text, you can also do that by texting UUAA at 73256. This morning's offering will now be gratefully received. Thank you, Chalice Singers. May the peace of wild things indeed lead us to the freedom of the soul. Would you rise as you're comfortably able in body or spirit as the ushers bring forward this Sunday's collection and we offer the words of this congregation's dedication. I invite you to join your hearts as well as your voices as we say together, "To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives and these our offerings." Thank you. Please be seated.
You'll notice on the table, which soon will be crowded with your offerings, there are a few flowers already there. These are from our gardens, lovingly tended to by many of you, volunteers who care deeply about our home. We recognize that our home is on land that is not our own, but rather the ancestral home of the native people of the Anishinaabe tribe, the Ojibwe, the Ottawa, the Potawatomi. It is a sacred act to tend and care for their land. Our table will be a place to gather the individual flowers you have each brought with you or you picked up on the way in. If you missed getting one, raise your hand and an usher can get one to you. The first flower communion ceremony happened just over 100 years ago. It was created by Unitarian minister Reverend Norbert Čapek for his congregation in Czechoslovakia. He asked the people to bring a flower to worship one Sunday. He wanted to do something that would involve his congregants and convey the idea of community by visually creating one large bouquet representing the coming together of many individual parts into a unified, beautiful whole. In this congregation, water communion happens in early September. For our ingathering, you each bring water to add to a communal bowl, and we celebrate the start of the church year. Likewise, in the dirt communion ritual we did just a month ago, you each added dirt to communal pots in which flowers have been planted. And today, we will complete the circle, if you will, with our flower communion as the church year comes to a close. Now, I'd like to ask some help from any young ones, and if you are very, very young, maybe assisted by a grown-up. But if there's any kids who would like to help me with this next part, I need you to help gather the flowers. Are any of you willing to do that? Do you want to kind of come up here a minute together so I can see who you are? Excellent. Okay. So, what would be lovely if you can collect the flowers from all of the people here, and maybe the Chalice Sparks, you can get the flowers from the choir. Get a few, grab a few, and then bring them up to the table, and Reverend Manish and Stella and Dusty and I will take them from you, and we'll build this crowded table of flowers, okay? So there's no need to rush. Just take your time. You ready? You think you can help us? Okay, let's start. Okay, all the flower gatherers, if you would come back up to the table, I need your help as we bless the flowers. So if you want to just come back up where you were, anyone who helped gather flowers. It is indeed good to mix children and flowers on a day, isn't it? Look at this beautiful, beautiful array. Wonderful. So kids, we're going to bless the flowers. And so if you're able to hold your hands out, either like this or like this, and the words I say are going to help bless the flowers. And anyone here also can help with that gesture if you want. And if you're watching at home, you can do that with the blooms you have with you at home. Okay? Everybody's ready? I'm going to read a paraphrase of a prayer that Reverend Chapek wrote for the very first flower communion. Okay. Spirit of life, we ask your blessing on these flowers that remind us of connection and love. May they remind us that even though we have many different gifts and we each have different things that we know, we are still one community that tries to live up to being the best we can. May they also remind us the friendship is important, that we work together and share as we are able. May we know that friendship is a very special gift. May we not be discouraged if someone else can do the things that we can't. Don't let that change our relationship. May we realize that whatever we can do, something big or something small, we need everyone to contribute to doing work for peace and justice in the world. Amen. Thank you. You may all return to your seats. At the end of the service, all of these vases will be outside on the table, and I invite you to take a flower home with you, okay? So remember to take one home on your way out. Now, in the blessing we just heard that Reverend Chapek wrote many years ago, he said all of our efforts are needed to bring peace and justice to the world. This is still so very true today. The Chalice Sparks will remind us of this as they sing their anthem, Al-Shlosha Devarim. It's in Hebrew, and the translation is, the world is sustained by three things, by truth, by justice, and by peace.
Ashlo
Thank you, Dusty. Thank you, Chalice Sparks, for that reminder of truth, justice, and peace as being three important things that we Unitarian Universalists are committed to. I want to share with you a brief passage from Margaret Renkel's The Comfort of Crows. She writes, "The world lies before you, a lavish garden, however hobbled by waste, however fouled by graft, and tainted by deception, the world will always take your breath away. Bouquets spontaneously created, each of us having brought something different into community here with us today, is something that can and should take our breath away." But I have a question. Did any of you today bring weeds with you? Yeah, what weed did you bring? What weed did you bring? I saw the dandelions. Did we have any other weeds? All right, good for you. Dandelions or crabgrass or white clover, all these things. Weeds in our home gardens, we often consider an annoyance. They're thought to crowd out the beautiful things that we really want to have growing in our gardens. Well, we human beings, we get caught up in the appearance of things, how something looks, how pretty it is or pleasing it might be, or what functionality it might have. Certainly in the summertime, the ideal that we're given is the perfectly manicured green lawn without anything else growing in it. Except for, here in Ann Arbor, the no mowing April and May. Why do we have that? Why is April and May a no mow month? The weeds can serve a function. They can support pollinators, like butterflies and other pollinators, bees. And so we let the weeds grow a little bit so that they can help the ecosystem, so that they can help the environment. Thank you. There are lots of good reasons why we might view weeds as something helpful and not necessarily as the enemy. But I'm also making a point here, on a Sunday in which we honor the beauty that we each bring to community, and the fact that when we leave with a different bit of beauty than we brought ourselves. It's a metaphor for what it can be like to be in community. I want us to think a little bit also about weeds. Weeds, because even in community, we have the people version of weeds as well, don't we? Every now and again, you might be in a small group or a meeting or something else, and you think like to yourself usually, oh my gosh, that person is so annoying. They're so disagreeable. They're going to speak yet again. But weeds are not necessarily the enemy, including weedy people. So I did a little bit of research. I know nothing about gardening, truly. But if you look into it, there are lots of reasons why we should honor weeds. Reason number one, weeds often help carry nutrients up into the surface soil. What might that mean for weedy people or weed-like people? It might be that those folks are bringing to the attention of the community, to the surface, things that we all might want to pay attention to or need to pay attention to. Weeds in our gardening life, they also help prevent soil erosion. Weedy people or weed-like people can also be a part of our diverse human ecosystem, serving a similar function. Without them, we would be a monoculture, and monocultures are not always the healthiest things. So our weed-like people can also be a part of our natural human diversity. Some weeds themselves, we know, actually have tremendous nutritional or medicinal value, such as dandelions, by the way. How could we understand weedy people as medicine people, as having intrinsic value, whose presence may be there to teach us or show us something about ourselves, even if it's as simple as the need to learn and practice greater patience in our own lives. Kaylee Vaughn, a certified garden coach and permaculture expert, had this to say about gardening and weeds. Quote, "Constantly fighting off weeds is time-consuming." Amen to that. Isn't that the truth? And you probably will never actually win the fight to have a weed-free property. This is absolutely fascinating. When I arrived in our community about 6 years ago, one of the things I heard then, I don't hear this anymore today, but one of the things I heard then was, why is that person, or you could even generalize, that category of person here in our community, they're so grumpy and they seem to not be having a very good time. Shouldn't they just move on and go away, find some other community? i.e., build a greater monoculture, greater like-mindedness. But as Kaylee Vaughn reminds us, fighting off weeds eats up our energy. It is time-consuming. She goes on to say, it's okay not to have a perfect yard, a perfect garden, or a perfect homestead. It's okay to let nature have her own way sometimes. We all benefit from it. And truly, isn't it the case in community that we take turns being the weed every now and again, the one that's a little pokey or not so pretty? In our human relationships, how do we accept the presence of weedy people? The ones we might find annoying or disagreeable every now and again. And can we, in fact, even flip the internal script, potentially find beauty in their presence in our lives? Notice, in our flower communion ceremonies, no one is excluded. No one is excluded. There very well may be people in our community that any one of us might find less than agreeable or annoying, and yet on this occasion, on flower communion, each person symbolically contributes beauty and each person symbolically leaves with beauty. Are we able to see and feel and understand the beauty in all? Such is our calling, and such is our invitation as Unitarian Universalists.
Misty, I know this isn't in your order of service, but would you come up here on the chancel with me for a moment? We would like to take a moment to recognize that this is the end of your first church year at UUAA as Director of Music Ministries. You can clap more in a second. We are deeply grateful for all you do, and we're delighted to offer a token of our appreciation as we look ahead to the musical adventures you have in store for us this summer and in the years ahead. Thank you.
Stay up or get back up. Go forth into this new week, in the time ahead, holding in your heart that longing, that human yearning for a crowded table, a table that reflects the genuine diversity, the beauty of who we are as a human species. Knowing that that work of holding and creating a crowded table is not easy. It requires patience. It requires expansiveness in our hearts to allow for all those varieties of flowers, including the ones that we at times find annoying and consider weeds. Go forth in your heart knowing that that commitment to that greater sense of love, that greater sense of human family, resides not just with you, but with this whole community. You are supported in that longing, in that striving to bring alive the beloved community until we are together again. Go in love, go in peace. Amen.
Praise